Hello everyone, JP the Third back with you, and we are continuing on with our playthrough of Maid with Perfection. Another thing I wanted to point out is this window. Is that supposed to be a screen right here? And is it supposed to be looking out into the sky? How far up are we? I don't know, I just found that weird. Alright, let's get back to it and fulfill a promise that I made to myself last video. Oh, he doesn't do it. Oh, I feel cheated. That's when you have your voice actor just shout at the top of his lungs like a moron. I'm not going to do it. The moment's wasted. Fine. My voice echoes out into the lobby, reverberating off the walls and traveling through the air to dissolve into silence. For some reason, I felt satisfied letting out that random shout, although you didn't. Disappointing us all, by the way. It was indeed out of nowhere, but I was content listening to my own voice echo through the air. As silence returned fully into the foyer, I looked around, taking in the size of the room and how much distance the sound traveled through. One thing was for sure, it wasn't an illusion. This room was very much real, and it was very much huge.
Damn.
Oh, shut up. Now you say something. Might as well explore it. I wandered around the first floor to see a large kitchen, dining room, living room, study, and library. If this was a dream, I didn't want to wake up. I quickly climbed the stairs in the foyer, wanting to see the bedrooms and bathrooms. Of course, my brain imagined a king-size bed with gold and fur and fun things. What I found was slightly better.
What?
These look like The Simpsons. Look at this. The monograms on the wall, they look like The Simpsons. And again, the background, I'm probably going to be on the background all day if I continue on this path. So let's just chalk it up and say the background art is sub-average. It's okay. And just leave it at that. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna look it up, but I'm willing to bet that whoever did the art, and I just dropped my phone. Surprised it's not broken. Anyway, I said what I was going to say is that whoever did the art for this is probably the same one who did Sword of Asumi. That looks exactly like the model from Sword of Asumi. According to the page, the artist is Ryushiro Waffle. What the hell? What kind of pen name is that? Oh, this is interesting. There's a note on the bottom of the NaNoRenO forum post from Michaela. The reason we are selling this NaNoRenO game is to start earning money for Seduce Me 2. The more we can get, the better games SM2 will be. Please, if you would like to or can give money to this game, it will help greatly. We'll finish this playthrough and see if it's still worth it. Alright, now back to actually working. Standing in my room was a maid. Standing at attention from me with a smile on her face. She had black, partially dark blue hair and pretty blue eyes. Okay, let's stop right here. In a visual novel, you do not have to describe the visual look of a character if you have them. If you have a character sprite, if you have them designed, you don't have to describe how they looked. We can see it. Just say it. Use that word space for something more productive. Add on the fact that she was in a maid outfit, and my mind had no choice but to go into a wild frenzy. Yeah. This was happening. There was a maid standing in my new room as if she was meant to be there. She was so cute. I warned you guys this was coming. Cute.
Welcome home, Master.
Master? What? My brain was going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Was this really happening? There was a maid in my room greeting me and calling me master, and I was having a really hard time trying to figure out what to say. We're going with Abba Shababa B Shika. Abashababa be. I can't even say that. We're going with that. The maid merely smiled at me, giggling softly, and I couldn't help but feel completely elated. What was going on with me? Why was I so attracted to this girl? Why? I don't know. I'm gonna go with because of the moe and go with that. This whole idea was getting to my head, and I liked it. The maid gently moved one leg behind her other ankle and curtsied to me, as if she didn't notice the internal monologue I was having appearing on my face as a blush.
It's an honor to meet you. I look forward to serving you.
Thanks?
What do you plan to name me, Master?
Wait, what?
Name her? What does she mean?
Our company prides itself in full service. When you call for me, I will respond immediately. But I need to know what name you want to call me by.
What's your name?
Don't you have a name?
For some reason, the maid blushed a bit before nodding. Her blush made her even cuter. Back to the rule. You get one chance to use that as a descriptor, and after that, you're done. But it's a little loud in my, let's go to the preferences, it's a little loud in my headphones right now, so we're going to turn it down just a little bit. But it's nice to know that there's a soundtrack there.
I do have a name, but my priority is serving you under whatever name you give me. So please, name me whatever you like.
Can I name you Bob Bashik? Whatever that was from a minute ago?
Whatever I like?
The maid nodded to me with a smile. I felt kind of bad that she wanted me to name her. She wasn't a pet, but she said that was part of her job. I want to be a jerk so much right now, but I can't remember the exact sequence of a Baba whatever. So let's be, because it would be nice to get the best ending the first time around and we won't have to go back and cycle through the endings. Let's just go ahead and be nice here. The maid stared at me wide-eyed before blushing again. How was she so cute? I'm already dying a little inside from repeating this.
But my name...
What's wrong with your name? Do you not like it?
No, I love my name, but my job...
You asked me to name you, but I want to use your name. So, what's your name?
The mixing is a little odd here, I gotta admit. The voice actress for the maid is really loud. Or not really loud, but very clear. And my character, you can kind of tell they're at a lower volume. So definitely gotta check that kind of stuff moving forward.
My name is Carolyn.
Don't believe that, but okay, we'll go with that. We will go. Cute needs to die. Carolyn's face flushed even deeper red, and I couldn't help but laugh.
I'll call you by your real name, Carolyn.
Carolyn then took out a small writing pad and a pen from under her apron, opened it to its first fresh page, and looked to me with a kind smile.
So, Master, what would you like for lunch?
As soon as she said lunch, my stomach began to grumble wildly. Food sounded really good right now, but my mind was fixated on the fact that she was taking my order.
Lunch? Right.
There were so many options and so many ideas running through my head. I could eat anything. I could have her make anything I wanted. That's what being a rich person is about, right? Technically no, but we'll go with it. I looked at Carolyn before tilting my head.
What would you suggest?
Me? Well, I actually am the best at making homemade pasta and steak. My favorite meal to make is mushroom steak pasta with garlic sauce. It takes a little bit, but it's well worth the wait.
My mouth practically salivated at the idea. Steak, pasta, yum. I felt myself nod unconsciously to the suggestion, making Carolyn nod with a smile and write down notes in her notepad.
Is there anything else you need?
Can we get that steak in the bed?
I don't think so, no.
You idiot. You are missing a great opportunity to get the steak delivered to you in bed.
Alright, I'll start lunch then.
And with that, Carolyn quickly left the room, determined to make my meal. I watched her leave, almost catching a glimpse under her skirt as she rushed out. Yeah, we're going in this direction. Yay. I blushed, but shook my head and looked around the room, clearing my throat. Yep, this was heaven. This was some sort of rich person heaven with cute maids. I walked over and jumped onto my bed, feeling a soft mattress, making me melt in comfortable pleasure. This was the best thing that could happen to me, and I was incredibly happy. I closed my eyes and let reality seep into my head as I drifted into a joyful nap. Eventually, I did wake and eat. As I ate, all of my belongings were brought in by a group of movers. They said 12 hours. I'll let that one pass. They were extremely meticulous and delicate with each item they brought into my new home. And they even hooked up my consoles to a new gigantic flat-screen TV and modified the consoles to run in perfect HD. Who are these guys and can I get them to come to my house? This was perfect. One thing made me curious, though.
So, how did I get into this lottery? There's no way this could be a big thing.
Well, the proprietor behind the lottery did select the lottery pool from the middle class. From what I know of the lottery, they have to be single middle-class citizens around the ages of 22 to 30.
Really? Why so young? And why single?
I guess it has something to do with management. Bringing a couple or even a family might upset the results of the experiment.
As if she said something wrong, Carolyn covered her mouth with her hand, looking at me in worry.
Oh, you mean the economic experiment? The driver guy who picked me up already told me about that. What?
Alright, cut him off. That's fine. Carolyn relaxed slightly before lowering her hand and shaking her head.
I'm sorry. It's my first time out as a real maid. I don't know what or what not to say.
Yeah, you can say anything you want. Better not. That could lead to something fun. So yeah, we're gonna go with that. Carolyn stared at me with a gigantic blush on her face. Was she not expecting me to say that? I smiled and chuckled a bit at her red face.
What's so funny?
You just look very cute, especially when you blush.
Cute needs to die a long, painful, bloody death. The red tint on her face deepened as she looked down at her skirt, trying to calm down. I was she this adorable. I smiled before sipping again from my teacup. The driver suggested that I try it, and I had to admit, it was amazing. It wasn't bitter or lacking in any way. It had me asking for more. By my fifth cup, I had emptied the teapot of hot water. I didn't need any more tea, so I stopped Carolyn from brewing more. As I finished my tea, I handed the cup and saucer towards Carolyn. As she turned, however, a small napkin flew off of the serving tray she was holding and landed behind her on the floor. This better not be where I'm thinking. I think I'm going to... Please don't.
Oh, I'll get...
Yep. Well, yeah, that's definitely... I know that color scheme from anywhere. This is the person who did sort of assume me. I'm willing to bet anything on it. And... Let me hurry this up before... All of a sudden, I was almost face to face with a pair of frilly panties. My mind instantly went blank, and I couldn't help but stare with my mouth agape. I wasn't even sure what to say as Carolyn continued her bent-over journey to pick up the napkin on the floor. My face grew even redder as more of her panties revealed themselves to me. I felt every nerve in my body want me to turn away or something, but my mind was not allowing me to be polite. On one hand, it was rude to stare. On the other, I couldn't help freezing.
Do you like what you see?
At least she's okay with it. Did my hands deceive me? Did she really just ask me that? The look on her face told me that her question was not a trick of the mind. She winked playfully at me as I looked at her, then her panties, and back to her. This scene just keeps going on forever. I tried to move my mouth to make words, but my voice continued its tortured silence, making me the moron of the night. Carolyn giggled before coming back up and brushing out her skirt. hiding the backside at last. This was definitely payback for making her blush.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
And I just skipped the line. Fine. I shook my head and cleared my throat. She's standing fine. Something told me that she did that on purpose, however. I didn't want to make assumptions. I just got here anyway, so my mind could be playing tricks on me. Carolyn excused herself for the night, and I was left alone with my thoughts. So this is definitely billed as a more ecchi game. I will refrain from throwing my Bible at the screen, but hopefully, I mean, if it gets any more, I doubt it will get any more explicit than that. So we should be alright. It should be. We're looking at probably Sakura Spirit level stuff, which will be annoying. But now I can kind of see what they're hoping the dollar will be worth. I mean, it sure ain't the background art. Carolyn excused herself for the night, and I think I already read that.
Wow. This is really happening, huh?
I was really here. I was in a mansion that I had come to win with a cute maid to serve me. Lady Luck was kind, and I was beyond grateful. And we're a little bit over the mark I wanted to stop at, so when we pick up, again, we'll pick up from this exact point. Let me see my card here, because I was not expecting an obligatory fan service scene. We so rarely get that in NaNoRenO. Usually a slice of life and Otome stuff, so panty shots are new. So let's see here. We got the obligatory fan service scene and the anime style artwork. We have to see we got the male protagonist, female protagonist. There, she's flirting with you, so I'm guessing there's a gay option in there, but we'll come back to it if necessary. Free square there. We got the text. Don't know where it is at just yet, so we're withholding that. So all in all, we got the makings of a potential bingo there. But yeah, I'm going to play a little bit ahead of this and moving forward, and just to see what happens next, and hopefully I don't get reported. I don't think YouTube is that crazy, but I don't know if we had to technically censor that. Everything was covered, but I don't know. I think we'll be good. Anyway, leave a like if you've enjoyed the video series so far. Leave a comment if you have anything to say. And as always, VNsnow.com. That is VNsnow.com for all the reviews and previews and everything else I do. That is not this. But at some point, I will have to put these videos on here. So there's a good chance that you're listening to me say this on a video on VNsnow.com. I'm just going to leave it there. See you guys next time.